Anyone who's in the back who wants to hear actually receive? No? Thank you. Welcome to the final press conference for the Showtime Championship Boxing triple header this Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, presented by Premier Boxing Champions and highlighted with the Heavyweight Championship of the world. This is a terrific card for top to bottom. Tickets for the event are available through Ticketmaster.com, BarclaysCenter.com, at the Barclays Center box office, and they can also be purchased by calling 1-800-745-3000. I love this show. I love what's off TV. There's a terrific heavyweight fight with Dominic Brazil and Eric Molina. That'll be an eliminator for the WBC 5-division world champion, #2 in the world pound for pound on almost every list. Amanda Serrano is on the undercard. There's a terrific competitive battle from an undefeated kid from Long Island, Titus Williams, against an undefeated kid from Brooklyn, Chris Colbert, which is a sensational local fight. The card is truly loaded with talent and with local stars. The comeback of Long Island, Shawn Monahan, it's a terrific card. And then we get to television where there are 3 significant fights. Nothing gets bigger than the defense of America's only heavyweight champion and only heavyweight championship, Deontay Wilder, defending the title against Bermane Stiverne, the only man he's been unable to knock out in his professional career, and the mandatory challenger of the WBC. The card on TV opens with a terrific matchup. Mr. Lopez over here has his hands full with Akira Kando. Akihiro Kando. Okay, I had to get my Japanese name. Akihiro Kando. In what should be a very competitive match for a world belt. One of Brooklyn's stars, one of boxing's biggest stars. I think this is his home away from home, his boxing home away from home. He's fought a lot of huge fights and had great efforts at the Barclays Center. Showtime Shawn Porter defending against a guy that's a real deserving, I'll call him a challenger in this case, because Shawn is a champion with or without a belt. Adrian Granados is as honest a fighter as you could ever find. He gives 120%. This is a guy that's going to make for a great fight. So this is a terrific card. I want to bring up first the man most responsible for bringing this to you. It's his dollars that have provided the best live boxing on premium cable for years at this point. I don't think there's any question at the moment that Showtime Sports is the leader in televised boxing. Steven Espinosa.
Thanks, Lou. This weekend's telecast will be the second weekend of heavyweight title fights on Showtime. As we all know, Deontay and Bermane faced each other back in 2015. And while Deontay took home a unanimous decision and the title, neither fighter went home happy. Deontay was impressive, but he didn't get the knockout. So Bermane Stiverne represents the only blemish on an otherwise perfect knockout streak. And for Bermane, there was a nagging belief that he wasn't at his best that night. And ever since that fight in January 2015, Bermane has been asking for a rematch to anyone and everyone. So on Saturday, both men are going to get their wish. Deontay gets his chance to send a message to the rest of the heavyweight division by knocking out the only man who went 12 rounds with him. And Bermane gets a second chance at a world title. The first time they fought, everyone saw it as Deontay's toughest opponent. When we polled the media ahead of that first fight, out of 42 members of the media, 22 saw it for Deontay, and 20 predicted it would go Bermane's way. So Stiverne is certainly no slouch, certainly hasn't become a worse fighter in between. This is a legitimate, credible, all-action heavyweight fight with America's only heavyweight champion. Having a big heavyweight title fight as the main event is a huge attraction and huge advantage, but it's also a bit of a disadvantage in some ways. The disadvantage is that it sometimes sucks up all the attention, and some really interesting co-feature fights can get somewhat overlooked. And there are a bunch on this card, as Lou has already outlined. I'm going to highlight two of them, the two that are on the Showtime card, because they're two excellent co-feature fights. Either one could have been a main event. I know that's a cliche, but it's absolutely true in this case. And either one is of a quality that it would be a main event on any other network. And it's just a testament to the standards of quality we have here and what the fighters are willing to do that we were able to put all three of these fights on one card. Porter versus Granados, we've got a top 5 ranked welterweight in Shawn Porter, a top 5 ranked junior welterweight in Adrian Granados. You've seen these guys. This is an intriguing matchup of two all-action fighters. Sergey Lipinets versus Akihiro Hondo for a world title. This, again, another all-action fight. If you haven't seen Sergey Lipinets fight, I urge you to turn on TV early, get to the arena early. He is a very entertaining fighter, and this will be a very entertaining fight. All in all, by the end of this card, Showtime will have done 29 world title fights on Showtime. That's not pay-per-view. 29 world title fights this year alone. And there aren't many networks that have done 29 fights total, and certainly not 29 high-quality fights. So it's a salute to these fighters, to Lou, the other promoters we've worked with, and to the entire staff. We're looking forward to closing the year on a very strong note. Thank you.
Brooklyn boxing is, I think, now a brand, and the Barclays Center, I think, is the preeminent home of boxing on the East Coast of the United States. And that's due to the efforts of, and one, by the way, of the preeminent homes of boxing in the world today. And that's because of the dedication of this man to boxing programming in his buildings. He's a huge boxing fan. He's one of the great supporters of our sport. It's my pleasure to bring out my friend Brett Yormark.
Thank you, Lou. So this Saturday will be our last Brooklyn boxing event of the year, and it's been an incredible 2017. It started last January with Badu Jack and James DeGale. We then went on in March and hosted the Keith Thurman Danny Garcia fight, which was probably the biggest fight we've ever had at Barclays Center. And it hit new marks for the venue that we hadn't seen prior to that. And then this past summer, obviously, we had the Mikey Garcia-Broner fight. And throughout the year, I think the Charlo brothers obviously have become stars and both fought at Barclays Center in 17 as well. So it was a great, great year full of memorable moments. But I couldn't think of a better fight to end this historic year in Brooklyn than to host Deontay Wilder this Saturday night. Deontay first came to Brooklyn in 2015. It was the first heavyweight fight in the borough of Brooklyn in 115 years. We're excited to have Deontay back, this Saturday. He obviously faced a competitor, perhaps the toughest that Deontay has faced, and that obviously is Bermane. So Bermane, thank you for coming to Brooklyn and welcome to the borough. I'd also like to give a special welcome back to Shawn Porter. Shawn is fighting his 3rd consecutive fight at Barclays Center. Shawn, you and Kenny both are part of the Brooklyn boxing family, so we're thrilled to have you back, so thank you again. Adrian Granados, I know this is your first time in Brooklyn, so welcome to the borough, and we're excited to have you at Barclays Center. Also excited to have Amanda Serrano back, as Lou said. It'll be her 4th time in our ring at Barclays Center. And then there's a couple of newcomers also. Sergey Lipinets and Akihiro Hondo, welcome to Brooklyn. Excited to have you both here too. And then 2 Brooklynites that'll be fighting, not here I don't think today, but Chris Colbert and Titus Williams. Obviously for Brooklyn boxing, it's not only about the established stars, but it's also about those future fighters that are making their way up. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Lou. Lou, thank you again for being such a great partner and providing us with an incredible year at Barclays Center. And then Stephen Espinoza. Without Stephen, we wouldn't be here. He's done an incredible job building our brand and our business. So looking forward to having you all out in Brooklyn this Saturday night. It should be a great night, and thank you for coming today.
If you see how beautifully this belt is laid out over here, this beautiful case with the minking and everything else, you'll know what the green belt means to Deontay Wilder, what it means to Deontay Wilder to be the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. And really no BS. The WBC, I believe, is the most prestigious belt in the world. It's the most prestigious organization in the world right now, really because of the work of Mauricio Suleiman in terms of health and safety of fighters, with respect to testing for performance-enhancing drugs, with respect to acts of charity, with respect to efforts to take care of ex-fighters. There really is no organization that does what the WBC does. My friend, the president of the WBC, Mauricio Suleiman.
Lou, thank you very much for the kind words. All I do is every day try to be like my father. Every single day I wake up and think that I will make proud the memory of my father. Every night I go to bed hoping that I did accomplish that. This fight is tremendous. Whoever thinks it's not the best championship fight that there can be in the heavyweight division is wrong. This fight has a lot of meaning to me personally. Bermane Stiverne became the heavyweight champion right after my father passed away. So it was my father's last mandated fight. But at the same time, my father made a promise to Deontay Wilder, who was a mandatory challenger, and that promise was to have the next fight without any intervening fight. I love Don King. He screamed at me like nobody else has ever done. He wanted a voluntary defense, and we stuck to my father's promise. What we saw, 2015, was a tremendous bout. Only one fighter has gone 12 rounds with a champion, and his dream, his 2 years of working, is finally over. We'll see what happens in 2 nights. I'd like to thank Ludi Vela. I'd like to thank Don King for working together. This path to get to Saturday night had many bumpy roads, but through working and unity, it was able to make it happen. Mr. Espinosa, Showtime, without a doubt, is the champion of networks. I'm very happy, very pleased that they have put together an instant replay system, which will be in effect. And we need to step up to the 21st century and use technology to make sure that justice prevails in the ring. The Barclays Center is a new mecca of boxing. Mr. Yorma, congratulations. I'm very, very happy to be always sitting here at the most beautiful arena that boxing has. I don't know, this is the first time ever that I grow a mustache. We have joined Movember, which is Men's Health Awareness for the month of November, and I challenge everybody. I challenge you to keep growing that mustache, and you to keep growing the mustache, and anybody in the audience, we have to join and fight the battle that we all can get into one day or another. There's some survivors of cancer, like Shelly Finkel, who is here, a hero, rare champion, and we're all together in this. There have been 23 heavyweight champions in the history of WBC. Of course, Muhammad Ali, Fraser, Foreman, Holmes, Tyson, Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Vitaly Klitschko. And then they came Stiverne and Wilder. Saturday night, they're going to prove who is of that stature, of that level. I'm sure it's going to be a great fight. And I'd like to congratulate Lou for including female boxing in the cards, to congratulate Lou for giving order Granados to the crowd. It's going to be one of the greatest fights in welterweight division. And I am sure that the motivation of the new baby coming is special for our champion Wilder. The WBC, Lou, I'm sorry, one more minute. The WBC took on clean boxing. And we have walked and we have run, and we're very proud of what we have been doing with the anti-doping, out of competition and in competition testing. Such measure has made these fighters suffer. Deontay has lost 3 title defenses to doping problems. Stiverne lost a fight. The day of the fight, he was notified he could not fight. But we stand proud because we're changing the world of boxing. There's nothing more sacred than the safety of the boxers and the justice. So we will continue fighting, and I'm very proud of the fighters and the promoters who stand tall for clean boxing. Finally, I want to present our champion, Deontay Wilder, a special plaque commemorating this event, because this is a world championship fight that brings the best out of the champion and the mandatory challenger. I hope you take this with care and that you like it. So I invite everybody to do and put boxing, as tall as we are, in a safe, in a friendly and unity manner, because you're both gentlemen. All the camps are gentlemen, and I'm very happy to see a great event coming back to New York. Thank you very much.
I'm going to comment on something Mauricio said in a second, but before I do that, and this is going to get me into trouble, I probably will get told off and maybe silenced for the future and not ever be given a ticket to another concert ever again for the rest of my life if I call to help me get hooked up. But there's a woman who's really responsible for a lot of what goes on behind the scenes on all these fights we do in Brooklyn, the fights we do on Showtime with premier boxing champions, with a lot of the fighters in this room right now. She's one of the unsung heroes, and really a person that's indispensable to all of us, and we love her, and it's her birthday. So, Sylvia Brown Owens, can you please come up here, Sylvia. Get up here, Sil. Where are you? Okay, get up here. And so many of the fighters who fight, you know, on our show, so many of the people that fight for us, they know what this woman does, what she thinks of all of them. She's a great friend. She's one of the best in the biz. She's an unbelievable professional. I'm proud that she's my buddy, Sylvia Brown Owens. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sylvia. If we get this. Happy birthday to you. Hey, Meredith, this is the show. Here we go. You know, to follow up on something that Mauricio said, you know, you can't look, when people are doing the right thing, you can't regret it, and you can't look at it and say, doing the right thing hurt us. You know what I mean? Like, there needs to be a clean boxing program. Guys shouldn't be allowed to cheat. They're putting other people's lives at risk. And by the way, if Povetkin thought he would beat this man to my right, he wouldn't have cheated. And that's the same thing that tends to be true of everybody else who goes out there and breaks the rules. They don't do it because they're confident in themselves. They don't do it because they're great champions. They don't do it because they're fair athletes. They don't. They don't. And, you know, people think it's not easy all the time to go on social media, no matter how confident you are in your own ability, no matter how much you know you do the right thing consistently. It's not an easy thing to read about yourself getting criticized because of stuff that's no fault of your own, but because of circumstance. because you have a defining fight canceled when you're sitting on a runway, because you have another defining fight canceled, because and you're awakened by the news that another piece of paper came in, you know, adverse from VADA. You know, it's not your fault when you go into a fight, you know, on short notice after having a, you know, one of those big fights canceled, and you go into a ring and you suffer 2 severe injuries that require surgery. It's not your fault. You know, you're also not hiding from people that you're saying, come here, let's make it. You're not hiding from people when you make them offers. You know, so this is a real heavyweight championship fight on Saturday night. This is a real heavyweight champion. And by the way, this is the man I know is going to be unified heavyweight champion. And I think a lot of other people that are smart know that too. And I also know that this man to my left is dangerous. He's really dangerous. He's a big guy, he's strong, he can punch. He don't give a shit right now. This is friggin' Christmas for Bermane Stiverne right now. It ain't Halloween week. You know? He's coming here, what does he have to lose? He can walk away the heavyweight champion in the world, and Mr. King, I'm sorry guys. You know, Mr. King has a chance to walk away with the heavyweight championship of the world. It's serious business on Saturday night at Barclays Center. And something fans should want to see, because it's going to be a great night of boxing from top to bottom, and the heavyweight championship of the world is at risk in the main event, and this is America's only heavyweight champion, this is America's best heavyweight, and this is a guy that's going to unify the belts and prove to everyone what he's able to do when he's given a chance. Because what's happened so far is not the fault of anyone, it's circumstance, it's life. If fights get canceled because we're doing the right thing, then so be it. This young man came all the way from Japan. He's making his U.S. debut. I pronounced his name earlier incorrectly because I was thinking of my good friend Akihiro Honda, who's like the king of boxing in Japan, everyone knows Mr. Honda. But Akihiro Kondo is an accomplished fighter, 29-6 with 16 KOs, and he's here to try to win a world championship, a vacant world championship. And he's got his hands full with a young man on my right named Sergey Lipinets, and I'll talk about him in a minute. But I'd like to bring up, accompanied by his advisor Lauren, who will do the translation, Akihiro Kondo.
日本の応援者のために必ず勝利を持って帰りたいと思います。皆さん応援よろしくお願いします。
I'm going to do my best to win for all my fans back in Japan, take the title belt, the championship belt back home. And I appreciate your support. Thank you.
The young man he'll be fighting is 12-0 with 10 KOs. Fights out of Beverly Hills, California. He was born in Kazakhstan. I know this guy really well. I promoted his own fights, and I promoted a number of his fights. And he is a beast. He is a beast. He's 12-0 with 10 KOs. He's got extraordinary power. You can hurt him, but he just keeps coming. And he will hurt you at some point. He's done it in almost every fight he's ever had. This guy, I think, Mr. Kondo has his hands full. Sergey is co-managed by Al Heyman, by Andrew Zaks, and by a man who's going to translate for him, Alex Baseball.
В первую очередь хочу сказать большое спасибо мистеру Хейману за представленную возможность. Спасибо Люди Белла за промоушен. Спасибо моим менеджерам, спасибо моим тренерам, всем, кто помогал мне готовиться. Спасибо всем, кто пришел сюда смотреть. Спасибо всем, кто будет смотреть по телевизору, всем моим фанатам, всем, кто нравится мой стиль бокса. Постараемся сделать красивый бой, забрать пояс и нокаутировать, конечно. Спасибо.
First of all, he wants to say how much he appreciates the work that Alejandro put in and made that fight possible. To develop his promotion. Like he said, he promoted him a couple more times before, and it's always first class. His trainers, his managers, it's a dream come true because a 13th fight was a pedigree that he has. It's not easy and it's not simple. He had to go through different adversities to get to that point. Now he's here, he wants to show a great fight. He wants to strive for a knockout. He can't help himself, he wants to do that. And everybody's going to be enjoying that fight, he promised.
This gentleman's nickname El Tigre, the Tiger. And he fights like a tiger. I mean, the guy's a warrior. What can you say about this guy? And Adrian Broner knows that this guy's a warrior. And ever since that fight ball, Adrian Granados has been doing, has been using social media, using the media, talking to every writer he can talk to, and doing every radio show and blog out there, you know, saying somebody give me a shot, I'm a badass and I deserve another opportunity. So you figure the guy that had given that opportunity to be a guy who's one of the biggest badasses and gentlemen in the entire sport, Showtime's on board. First I want to bring up the pride of the Chicago area, the pride of Illinois, coming off a split decision loss to Adrian Broner, Adrian El Tigre Granados.
Thank you, Mr. DeBello. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Yeah, no, I'm very grateful to be here. I'm happy to be here, get this opportunity with Showtime's reporter. I appreciate the opportunity and I thank him and his father. We definitely got a great fight coming up this Saturday. You know, it's a tremendous opportunity for myself, and I'm definitely coming in for the win. I'm not here to lay down. It's going to be an action-packed fight. You know, we definitely both have style-friendly styles, or fan-friendly styles. So you know, may the best man win, and may God protect us both. Para mi gente latino, para la gente de sangre indio, les quiero saludar. Estoy bien preparado para esta pelea. Va a ser una pelea con mucha pasión, con mucha acción. Venimos bien preparados. Gracias a Dios por esta oportunidad. Y si Dios quiere, vamos a ganar y poder regresar este título a mi casa y pues para mi gente y para los latinos. Gracias por tenerme. Thank you very much for having me, and everybody have a good one.
Thank you, Adrian. To bring up his son, I'm going to introduce his son. I'm going to bring up a guy that's really one of the great trainers in boxing, also with his son, a great ambassador for the sport, a guy that loved the amateurs and gave a lot of his life dedicated to the sport. One of the reasons why his son is the fighter he is. So to introduce his son, Kenny Porter.
Thank you guys. Thank God for being here. It's great to be back in New York. I love New York. I love Brooklyn. We love the Barclays. Thank you to Showtime Sports, Lou DeBella, Premier Boxing Champions, Brett. Thank you. They roll out the carpet for us, and it just feels like we're coming home, especially when we go to Gleason's. It's great to be here with everybody and see all the faces that we enjoy seeing when we get here. It gives us that momentum we need and that energy we need to go in on Saturday night. I have interacted with this young man over here before. I met him a couple times, and he walked away from me, and I just thought to myself, man, I like that kid. And when I saw him again, I wanted to talk to him again because he has that type of personality, and he's brought up that way that makes me feel like, you know what, that's the kind of person my son is. So I extend my hand to you because
Not just because we're here today, but because you didn't know that. You made that impression on me when we met. And he brought his dad to me, introduced his dad to me, so that was great. You know what I mean? So I'm a father and son, you know, fan of the father and son and the relationship that he has with his dad. Your dad here today? He'll be here. He'll be here. Happy birthday to Sylvia. And happy birthday to Shawn. Happy birthday to me. We all have birthdays. It's great to be here, guys. Saturday night is going to be a great fight. Our training camp was not a training camp. It was just a continuation of what we always do. So we had a tremendous preparation for this fight. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, nutritionally. He is in the best shape of his life. We'll leave nothing to any chance on Saturday night. You guys are going to get a great show. Come on out and enjoy it. Thank you. Showtime, Shawn Porter.
Thank you, Daddy. What's up, y'all? I'm back. Glad to be back. Excited to fight once more before the year is out. Just want to mimic what Lou DiBella said and has been able to do, is put together another great fight card. And I'm just very excited and honored to be a part of it. I'm getting the seats warm this time. I'm not gonna close the show for y'all, but I'm gonna get it warm. Actually, myself and the Tigre over here. Two things I got to say to you, my man. Nice suit. Nice suit. I thought I looked good this morning when I stepped out of my room. Then I saw him. I said, man. Maybe I should have went with that color scheme. That's a nice suit. Yeah. And I appreciate your respect for me, and it goes back to you. And I want to let everybody out there know that the respect you see between him and I, that's what it's supposed to be. That's what boxing is about. It's about getting in the ring and competing. So as always, I respect the man that I'm going up against before we even enter the ring, but even more respect to you because you look good and you fight. And that's what we want. We wanted somebody that was going to come here and fight me. We didn't want somebody that was going to run around the ring, somebody that was going to try to play the point system with me, somebody that was going to come in here and lay down. We trying to close this year out in fantastic form. And the best way we can do that is against Adrian Granados. Everybody, please come on and watch us light up the show and get it ready for Bermane Stiverne and my good friend over here, Deontay Wilder. God bless y'all. We'll see you in a couple days.
To announce Bermane's camp, and want to further acknowledge his managers who's here. I see James Fritz behind me. I want to acknowledge James and Josh Dubin. But the man on my left, he and I have known each other since I'm a kid, literally, something close to approaching 30 years. And you know, whatever you think of this man, you cannot deny his genius. And you cannot deny that Don King in boxing is what P.T. Barnum was to the circus. He's not only the most famous person in this room. There is not a street in New York that he could walk down right now if he left this building without being recognized. I'm happy that we've been friends for a number of years now. I like it a lot better that way. But this guy's a cultural icon. I mean, literally. There are Don King characters in I don't know how many novels, and how many books, and how many plays, and how many movies, how many promoters have been modeled after this guy in various forms of media. One of the most famous people on the face of the earth, one of the great promoters in the history of boxing, Don King.
Thank you. I come with a message today. First of all, I want to thank all these young men that's out here that's fighting for the crown. I want to thank Steven Espinosa at Showtime for presenting them to you. But he has something in store for him on Saturday night that's going to really be a shock. It's going to be the fight of the year. Unquestionably, you know, I want to introduce to Deontay, who I have a lot of love for, Bermane Stiverne. He's never really met him, you know, and so I want to introduce him to, you know, and talking to you, the American public and the world at large. It's going to be a fantastic evening of boxing at the Barclays Center. I've called up my friend Chuck Dolan and Jim Dolan. I want them to be guests for me at the ringside. You know, hopefully they can make it. And to bear witness to what's coming on with the new with Mr. Yorant here. That's his brother was my, is my dear friend. So, but here's what's going to happen. You're going to have an upset similar to Donald Trump, when nobody in the world wanted him to be president. He shocked the world by becoming president against all odds. All right, so now what we're going to have here is a shocking upset. It's going to be Bermane when he knocks out my dear friend here, Deontay. Now, you know that when he does this, and I want Al Heyman to take this into consideration, that Deontay will retire. That's his word. But I want to say right now, I want to put in my request, when you come out of retirement, come on to see me. I'm telling you, he can talk, he's got the gift. His mother, I love his mother. And my mother was, both of them were born in Alabama. You know what I mean? So I'm an Alabamian too. And Alabama, what we should understand, and why I want him to be able to carry the message of friend and for life, is the only state in the union that has legalized white supremacy. They talk about all of the different objects that would divide people around the world, but at least Alabama was honest with it. You know what I mean? They legalized it. And I want him to be one of the men that knocks that barrier down, because he's got the guts, he's got the wherewithal, and he's got the glib tongue, he's loquacious. He can express and identify and bring people together, as he is doing right now with the Alabamians. So I'm looking forward to that with great excitement. Not only will it be great for Lou, because I think Lou is doing a tremendous job, but it'll be a rubber match. And that rubber match will be something similar to Ali and Frazier, Ali and making things happen right down the line, Ali and George Foreman. So it's going to be an exciting time for me to be here on Saturday, and I'm calling up everybody. And as history has put it and dictated it, we will have a wonderful November to remember. That's what we said when I was working and promoting Donald Trump, a November to remember, and it will be remembered from here to eternity. You know, the same thing is going to happen here on Saturday at the Barclays Center, when we really crown that center. That will have a shocking effect around the world, but it will be good, because what Lou DeBella said was we were doing right. So it's going to be a blow for righteousness, because no matter what it costs, whatever it happens, we stand for the right. So the fight should be clean. They should be able to deal with each other for the safety for the boxers. My friend Suleiman is smiling right now. That's the father, not the son. And looking down on me right now, because he's the one that staged this thing for Deontay. He set that up, and we kept his word. And he kept his word with me. So now he just sent me the message. So I want y'all to all know this, Tom Howes, and I want you to put it down. You know what I mean? He sent the message that this is going to be a great thing, and all the angels in heaven will be watching. You know what I mean? When the upset comes, and he retired, because he keeps his word. There's nothing more precious in life than your word. Your money comes, your money goes. You know what I mean? But your word follows you forever. And so what I know that when he retired, but I just want to put in my thing right now before anybody else starts. When he come out of retirement, you're going to be a Muhammad Ali. You know what I mean? So he had to lose too, you know, in order to get there. So you ain't never lost, and you really can't be an Ali. You know? When you lose on Saturday night, you can be an Ali. You know what I mean? You know, so it's going to be a fantastic evening of boxing that we're trying to do, and we're going to make it happen. I'm saying hello to my friend de Blasio, the mayor of this great city, and he's going to be out there looking at this fight, trying to find ways and means to justify his re-election. And we are looking forward to that with great excitement, you know what I mean? So I want to say that I'm honored. I'm very honored to be working with Lou, and I think that you know, it's something that is there, that honesty and steadfastness, exciting to be able to be with promoters of the stature and esteem and the Harvard man too. It's marvelous, and I feel good about it. You know what I mean? So Jose Suleiman, we're going to be right there for you on that. And to say about his son, I love his son. He's like my son. He calls me Papa, and I call him son. That is the young man that is just up here that is carrying the torch in Viva Mexico. You know what I mean? It's like we got the Mexican flag right here, and we got the WBC flag. You know, Viva Mexico, you know. So the president of Mexico is a dear friend of mine, Mickey Niña Prieto, and his lovely wife, Angela. And so what we're going to do is going to have a great celebration. We got Andrea come to our, what's his name? What's his name? Come on, man. Tell me what it is. Adrian Granados. This is just really great. So he's going to be carrying the message back to Mexico, to my homeland. Mi casa, su casa. You know, it's going to be really great. So I'm looking forward to all of the excitement that's going to be here. And I wanted to be first to introduce the real Bermane to Deontay Wilder, because he hadn't met that man. Last time he seen the guy similar like that, you know, they say we all look alike, so it's all, you know, you didn't really meet the real guy, he had an imposter there, you know what I mean? So now you're going to meet the real man on Saturday night, and I'm excited as I can be about it. And I want to talk to Steve. We're going to make plans for the rubber match, you know, later down the road, because you may go to M&M or whatever he said, because whatever he said, that's what he means. You know what I mean? So whatever he decides to do, but I know one thing he has to do is not to forget the dirt road. Don't forget from whence he comes. Don't understand what our problem and our struggle is, and he is right there where at least it's honest, where you can confront it, eyeball to eyeball, step to step, legal white supremacy, you know what I mean? Puts us where it means nothing. The white woman, people of color, nothing, you know, and it's written down in law, you know what I mean? So there ain't no way you can be no forsaken or playing no mistakes about it, you know what I mean? It's in law, and the poor whites, the masses. So now that we have it, you can fight it because you can name it and you can identify it. And so what we can do now with this man here is going to be a powerful force in bringing back the Alabama to what it should be, could be, and will be when we find freedom, justice, equality, you know what I mean? Working together, you know. So I'm excited. You know, so I want to tell you, I want to introduce this young man that is here. He's a great, great fighter, and he's a man that just thrills me. Let me get up. I got to get in this country. Where do I have it in my hand already? Yes, I do. There it is. We've been having trouble all down there off America, the islands, you know what I mean, and having different things that happen. And so the president there wants me to make certain that Bermane, when he wins, to come and visit and go back home and help them kids, the young people that can come in, to be a role model, you know what I mean, and be able to say, when you get knocked down, you get back up. You know, you never quit, you don't give in, you know what I mean? You're in it to win it. You know what I mean? You don't give up, you don't quit, and you're going out there and victory will be yours. So we want to go back and establish that type of feeling in Haiti, and we want to be able to establish the feeling that, you know, never say die attitude. You know, we totally eradicate the word failure out the vocabulary. Setback every now and then. Failure, never. You know what I mean? So we got to be able to deal with that. So I'm going to bring you the new heavyweight champion of the world, and it makes me feel good that I can deal with Chico Finkel to sit there, my dear friend Shelly Finkel, and I want this man to come on up here, Bermane, and well, I want to do something else too. Now, we did it for Sylvia. Yesterday was his birthday. So before we talk, I want us to say happy birthday to him, because this is the new champion of the world. Happy birthday, Bermane. So let's give me a little tune then. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, new champion. Happy birthday to you. There's the new champion. Happy birthday. And tomorrow is Larry Holmes' birthday, so let's remember that. Larry Holmes is with you. Larry Holmes' mom, today is Bermane, and Deontay, I love you, baby.
Yeah. It's good to be here. I'd like to thank God for allowing me to see grateful for that. Also want to thank the Barclays Center, Mr. Norton, Mr. King, my promoter. I want to thank also my team, my manager Jay Prince, John Dubin, everybody else in the team, Sam and Chuck, Bermane, House, and my father is somewhere. Yeah. So let's see. All right, let's get down to business. I'd like to thank a couple people, but I don't think they should be thanked. All they're moving around and trying to duck me, find excuses, or worry about my career. I've been inactive for 2 years. You should be happy.
Talk to him. Talk to him.
You should be happy. That's in your advantage. If I didn't fight for 2 years, you should jump in the air. But all of that, you all know. That's when somebody is scared. You know what time it is. We spent 12 rounds in the ring. You give me my best. You give me your best. I give you about 30% of me. You know, listen over there, you know, everybody got long faces. Mr. Develop. Yeah, man, you know what time it is. You've been in this business for a long time. You've been in the business for a long time. You got one thing right. I am dangerous, man. Very dangerous.
Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is.
You know what time it is? Right.
It's good time. Beware.
Yes, sir. Behind the door.
Exactly.
Take your time. Take your time. Talk to him. Oh, I can hardly wait. I'm excited.
Listen, man, I feel great. I feel good. I feel strong.
Yes, sir.
It ain't gonna be no excuses. No excuses.
All right.
No excuses. I can guarantee you that. But the one thing that caught my attention, and I don't really watch social media and stuff like that, is that he said that he fears for my life. You fear for my life, man? You fear for my life? I don't fear for your life. Because I'm a killer. If that's what it takes for me to take that title, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to walk away with a smile on my face.
Yes, I told you.
How you look at me, man? Just give me what? I ain't going to do nothing. Don't worry about it. All of that is for Saturday night.
Yeah. I can hardly wait.
Boy, you don't even know. You caught me slipping the last time. Ain't nobody gonna slip. I'm gonna be on your ass. I'm gonna be on your ass, boy. I'm gonna be on your ass. Pull on that front. Y'all better go back there, because y'all don't want none of that shit. Y'all don't want none of that shit.
What's that?
Boy, let me tell you something. Boy, let me tell you something. I used to live here. It's my house. He fought here. I lived here.
Come on, champ. Yeah.
I ain't done. I'm not done. When you was talking, I let you talk.
Save it, it's all right.
I ain't done. But Saturday, November 4th, I promise you to God, I will be two-time heavyweight champion of the world. And none of these gonna stop me. None of y'all gonna stop me. I promise you that.
All right.
Promise you.
All right.
You can smile all you want, boy. You won't be smiling. Because I'm gonna see you backing home. Without, and I'm gonna take that box to and put it in the garbage for you.
Say it tonight, baby. Say it tonight. All right. I told you, let me get my other little guy in there, and then I'm gonna give it back to you, Lou. It's just I got two, me and Lou, we got eliminated two. The guy ain't here. I don't know if he's here or not. Is he here? But if he ain't, his name is Eric Molina. Eric Molina will be fighting an elimination match with Dominic Brazil. So that's going to be two fighters going to be out there Saturday night. We're going to have a grand slam, Lou. I hate to say this to you. You know what I mean? But when we flip the coin, anything you want, man. I mean, you know, the sky's the limit. Whatever you need, Lou, brother, you got it. You know what I mean? And naturally, with the same thing with Stephen Espinoza. You know what I mean? Many of them talk, but none of them walk. So you got to talk that talk, and you got to walk that walk. Now, he got to back up everything he said. And you said in front of all the world and all the people here, he's got to go in there and do what he's destined to do. Knock out Deontay. You know what I mean? Two-time champion of the world. I want y'all to know that it's going to be the fantastic fight of the year. And I want everybody to say he prognosticated it, he predicted it, and it came true. Only in America. Only in America. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, leader of the Bomb Squad, the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, and a man that takes out dangerous men for a living, Deontay Wilder.
How you guys doing? This is what y'all want, right?
Yes, sir.
You done heated up already. Man, I'd like to thank Showtime. I'd like to thank the Barclays Center, Al Haymon and Shelly Finkles. I'd like to thank Lou DiBella. Thank all you guys, man, for coming out. You know, it's been a long road for me. It's been a long journey. I done had my ups. I done had my downs. It seemed like the ups I done celebrated, but the downs done hurted me the most. And this is where it leads me to right now. This man said he done dealt with so much pain and suffering and heartaches. But we all got our own. I would dealt with that and more. All I ever wanted to do was prove to the world that I am the best, that I know I am. I am the baddest. I do hit the hardest. I am the most feared. Record speaks for itself. Numbers don't lie. And here we are again. He was the only man to survive the Alabama Slam. And this is what makes it a great fight. Because when I knock him out, there won't be nobody, no fighter that says they survived against Deontay Wilder. That's what's so special about this fight. That's why people should watch it. Just the match is about this fight. They was the only one to survive. He left with a lot of lumps and humps on him, though. A lot of excuses. This fight right here, we don't leave rolling in the ring, no excuses. Winner takes all. I am a man of my word. And I appreciate that all. I appreciate that all. I'm a man of my word. I can't wait. Over and over again. We've seen this, we'd have been here. We done heard this man talk before. We done heard him say the same things before. But I guess through aggression, I guess through animosity, I guess through jealousy, I guess through pain and suffering, what makes it come out of him the most. We done heard it all before. We done heard it all before. And what had happened? So much hatred for nothing. And I always talk about black people. That's what's wrong with black people to this day. We hate each other for no reason, for no cause. Everything we done been through and still go through to this day, but we still look at each other. Instead of pointing the finger somewhere, we still have so much aggression upon each other. Nowadays, we pass each other, we can't even say hello, how are you? Have a good day. Yet we meet more, we look them up and down, we stare in their face. If we say anything to a person, they ready to fight. Wherever it came to, when we're some of the strongest people in the world. See, what I do my talking and my walking in that ring. It ain't no need to do it outside for what? That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about, and that's why we're here. November the 4th. The truth will reveal itself. That's where it counts. All this right here, I can say all the things in the world right now. It ain't really nothing more I can say. I done said it all. In front of your faces, social media wise. And we know one thing, when Deontay Wilder speaks, he mean what he says. I mean what I say. I've been that way ever since I was a little kid. And now I'm a man, I mean exactly every word that I say. I don't have to say what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. And that's the most powerful thing that you can have, showing instead of telling. So it's gonna be a show and tell. I can't wait. Dehydration, right? He became the first heavyweight in history that became dehydrated in a fight. The first. And we gonna give him that. We gonna give him that. We gonna say he was dehydrated. We heard he was in full health the first time, right? He said if he wasn't training, then he would be worried that he trained his ass off. That he was ready. But when he got in that ring, I don't know what happened. But we're gonna make sure it don't happen no more, Bermane. Now it's Bermane, that's right. It's Bermane. I call him by his name, that's his name. Bermane, we're gonna make sure that don't happen no more. So much animosity, man, so much hate. I have none against you. I don't have none against you. And I can sit up here and smile. I can sit up here and talk. You can have all the aggression. You can have all the hate. But we're going to make sure it don't happen no more. And I brought you a present this time. I brought you a gift this time. What that gift? Bring the gift to him. I brought you with a nice bag and everything, too. I brought you a gift. So when I whoop you, I don't want to hear no more excuse. Just like my daddy said, I whoop you because I love you. And as the words in New York says, I'm a son. I can't wait. This is going to be it. I got plans. And I ain't going to let nobody stop me from getting in. Ain't going to let nobody stop me from getting in the way of my plans. I can't wait. I can't wait. I said what I said I was going to do the first time, and I did that. And the only thing that I didn't do was knock this man out. But this time, it's a different story. It's a different time. And it's a different place. It's a different time. And it's a different place. This is present, you know? That's his gift. That's for him to show you, not me. We deliver. That's it. But this is going to be an electrifying fight, guys. This right here is so meaningful, man. Because that belt ain't going nowhere. I promise you that. I will unify the division. I promise you that. I will be the undefeated, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I will carry my people's weight. So when they raise my hand in the sky and saying, still,
heavyweight champion of the world. Boy, and there ain't nothing more to say, man. I want y'all to witness it for yourself. We can say all we want to say, but at the end of the day, November 4th, it shall reveal itself. It shall reveal itself. I'll see y'all there.
Saturday night, November 4th at the Barclays Center, Showtime Championship Boxing, presented by Premier Boxing Champions. Come on, keep going. Go ahead for it. Let's get over there. People come down. It's a great card at the Barclays Center. If we can't be there, watch it at Showtime and not here. Thank you.
Because everybody want to know in the back, it's Pedialyte for avoid dehydration.
To the left. Hey, we need them over. To the left a little bit more, please. So they're centered. All right, hold that, guys. All right, guys, let's go. Right here, Ed. Move in a little bit. Closer. Perfect. Drop in the back. Right there, guys. Right here, guys. Hey, guys, right here down the middle. Right here down the middle. Thank you. Right here. Yeah. All right, guys. Stay by your word. You right.
retire. Y'all have to see me. I promise you. This real life for me. This real life for me. This ain't no hat. This ain't for these cameras. I don't give a fuck about these cameras. This real life for me. Trust me. Trust me. I promise. I promise. My words are powerful. I promise.